So let me demonstrate how to configure the timer. So the first thing we did, we connected the timer according to the diagram found on the front page of the manual. We connected the timer to the power source. We connected the configuration wires, and they marked as white and green because they connect to white and green wires. And we're using LED light as our load. So now we need to configure the timer. So we're going to use the function number 2, where we're going to supply the power to the timer, and the timer going to supply the voltage to the output to our LED light, and it will come on for 5 seconds and then turn off. So this is a simple diagram chart. As you see here, the power input voltage is our power to the timer, and the output is our power to our LED light. So we're gonna supply the power as soon as it applied to the timer. We're gonna supply the power to LED light, and then we're gonna turn it off after 5 seconds. We need to know the interval. We need to know the function number for this interval on function. It's function number 2. Okay, so the first thing we need to do, we need to go into the timer configuration mode, which you do by pushing 2 buttons and connecting power. Well, I need a third hand here. I'm going to connect the power. I'm going to disconnect the buttons, and the timer, the light lights up for 3 seconds and tells you that it went into the configuration mode. So the next thing we need to do, we need to set up the time. So we need to stop 5 seconds. To set up the time, you simply push the first button for 5 seconds, and the time is gonna come on for the same period of time. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Release, and we set it to 5 seconds. Now, if we want to set it to 10 seconds, we'll just hold it one more time and wait for 10 seconds and turn it off. The next thing we need to do, we need to configure a timer function and a trigger function. So we're going to push 2 buttons again without disconnecting the power. The light going to come on for 3 seconds. So it went to the next mode. So in this mode, the white button is going to set up our function. So we need to set it up to function number 2. So we need to push the white button 2 times. 1, 2. So we set the function to number 2, and a trigger in our case isn't used. If it's used, you just push the green button according to our manual. So we have 4 different trigger functions. So that's it. We set this up. Let's figure out if that works or not. So we're going to disconnect the power. We're going to connect the power. Light comes on, and hopefully after 5 seconds it's going to turn off. So it's turned off, come on, and after 5 seconds it's going to turn off. Now if you want to change the time without changing the function, it's very simple. We need to go into configuration mode, holding 2 buttons, connecting the power, and now we can push the white button to set up the time. Let's say we want to change it to time to 2 seconds. 1, 2. That's it. You don't have to go to the next menu and configure the function because you already did so. Disconnecting the power and connecting again. 2 seconds, it turns off. Connect again. 2 seconds, it turns off. If you need to change the function, you go into configuration mode, you set up your time, and you change your function. If you don't want to change the time, so here's the let's say we want to change our function to number 1, where we turning on voltage to the timer, but then the output only comes on after a period of time. So let's say we want to supply that power to the light after 2 seconds, as we already said. So we only need to change the function. We don't need to change the actual time. So what we need to do, we need to go into configuration mode, pushing 2 buttons, connecting power, And instead of pushing the white button for 2 seconds, since we already set it up, because if you set it for a longer period of time, you don't want to wait the same amount of time. So we can skip that function or that configuration. We want to push 2 buttons and go into the next mode where we're setting up the function number, and we're going to set the function number 1, and that's it. So if we connect the power, it should stay off for 2 seconds and then turn on. Connect the power, stays off for 2 seconds and turn back on. Again, connect the power, it's off and then it's on. So that's pretty much it. That's how easy it is to configure the timer and reconfigure it. If you have any questions, let us know, subscribe and like our video. Thank you.